Hi guys, Practical Prepper here. This is another video where I'm going to show some of the kind of remaining stuff that I have left that wasn't discussed in the other videos and my other bags that I have. The items that I have listed are also with this are listed in my major disaster bug out binder, and it's going to be listed on this page. These are some of the things I'm going to show you guys today. As far as, let me see if it can focus real good. Like these are, I have a couple things in a bag, and then the yellow items are actually things that are just separate. Obviously, I can't fit the yellow things in a bag. So let's go through the bag. This is a real quick bag. There's really not that much in here. Again, I have a couple family members that will help carry in case I need to actually get out. Go somewhere else rather than here, rather than stay. Because I can't obviously carry all these bags by myself. If I had to pick a bag that I had to carry, I would pick the blue bag, the other bag that I have, the general bag, but it just depends on the situation. This is just a little bit extra stuff. Here's some coffee filters. You pick these up at the local store, and these are good for just filtering water. It's not going to get rid of bacteria, it's not going to get rid of really crazy stuff, but it will clean out any type of dirt and debris and anything like that. Super cheap, super lightweight. Siphon, if it's not an EMP attack and vehicles still work, or maybe it is an EMP attack and you need to get fuel out of one pump, a canister, or one tank into another, a siphon pump's going to come in handy to get the fuel out of that particular canister and then into one of your canisters. This is a rope. This is actually, I'm going to probably use this. This can be used for building stuff, but it's a really thick rope. This is a tie-down rope. This is actually good for pulling stuff. It's 250 pounds. So actually, I'm going to show you guys here in a second. I'm actually going to have I'm going to show you guys my wagon, because the wagon's going to be really nice to have, and I'll explain why in a second. But I also have a bike, so I can either walk with the wagon, or I can tie up the wagon into my bike and pull it with this. And also there's other uses for that. Candle, I mean, if it's an EMP, you're not going to have any electricity, so you need to have something to light the way. You can make candles, and that's a separate video, but it's nice. That's going to get you to where you can actually start making stuff, give you a little bit more time. Bacterial hand soap is a big thing. People don't realize how important that is. Sanitation. And they think just food, water, and shelter. They don't realize that you're going to need hand soap, because you avoid dysentery. You wash your hands and you get some type of disease, worms, or you get dysentery to where you're throwing up. It doesn't matter how much food you have and how much water you have. If you're so sick that you can't keep anything down, you can actually die from that. So you really need to keep your sanitation up. And first aid kits, in different ways to disinfect wounds. That can help disinfect wounds to a degree. There's other things to disinfect wounds. Obviously, that's washing your hands, so that if you use the restroom and you wipe, you can wipe the feces off your hands so that you're not transmitting it to yourself and to others. So it's a really, really big thing that a lot of people don't think about too much. And that's it. This bag itself, this is multi-purpose like all my other bags. This is by Outdoor Products. It's kind of a generic version of Camelback, but it's got a water canister in it so that I can transport, water in addition to the things that I'm carrying. And that's it. I mean, that's real simple with this bag. Let me clean up some of this stuff and then talk about some of the other things that I have that I hope will really come in handy, that I hopefully never have to use. But so the first thing I'm going to talk about and show you guys after the bag is, this is probably my favorite thing, and this is a solar oven. And it's got this top on the top of it where the sun can beat down on it. It's got like kind of a film on the back, and it helps seal the oven itself. It's pretty lightweight. It's really durable. And the inside of the kit itself, it comes with, a couple pans. It comes with a thermostat to make sure you're cooking at the right temperature. It comes with a water pasteurization tool. So this is going to be, this is pretty sweet, because the reason why this is pretty awesome is if stuff does hit the fan and it gets really, really bad, the last thing you're going to want to do is draw attention to yourself, right? So, you know, because people, we've seen how crazy people get in hurricanes and after hurricanes and different natural disasters. You're fighting over gas, fighting over water, you know, and that's only for temporary things where they're going to be taken care of shortly. Something really bad happened where they're not going to be taken care of shortly, and that's also where their lives aren't on the line. But when you have something with their life on the line, the last thing, with as crazy as they get, with just a temporary thing like hurricanes and things, you can only imagine how bad things will get if it's life and death, and you're just, you know, the power grid's out because it was completely destroyed. It could be years. And they say within the first year, 90% of Americans will be dead, you know, because people are unprepared. So if you're a couple weeks in, a couple months in, the last thing you want to do is draw attention to yourself. And that's starting a campfire and all that stuff, because that signals where you're at. What this can do is, this gets up to like 200 and, I can't remember what I had it at, 220, 230, hot enough to boil water. So it's really good to kill bacteria. The coffee filters that I showed you earlier are good at filtering out any oils or dirts that are in there, but this is good about just killing the bacteria without creating smoke. It cooks food. You can cook stews. You can cook game. You put water in it. You can, in these pans, and you can cook food without creating any type of signal that you're there, without signaling to anybody that you're there, and you can cook your food. It doesn't need propane. If you have propane and you think, hey, I'm good for a year or whatever, a couple years, that's going to run out. You know, eventually you're going to be running out of gas. If there's no electricity, you're not going to use your stoves. So that's why it's really good. This right here, if it's taken care of, I can cook. I can cook all my food. I can cook my game. I can cook vegetables. I can cook pasteurized water. It's a really, 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 really awesome thing. And it's this is the suvival Sport. It's pretty expensive. This unit by itself, you know, was, let's see, this is almost $300, right? It was like $287, but it's pretty close to $300. So that's expensive. This, I can't buy all this stuff at once. I had to buy this, you know, when I saved up a little bit, but it's invaluable. You know, it's really going to be invaluable to to pasteurize water, and then also to cook food. And so that's probably one of my favorite things. And then the second thing that I'm going to discuss with you guys, and there's actually a couple of things, but the next thing is going to be, well, here, the wagon. And this is going to be a huge thing. This is just a red flyer wagon, you know, that you could buy at Walmart. And, you know, you don't have to get a fold-up one like this, but I like the fold-up one because it's light, and it's because it can fold up so you can save space. But it folds, you know, into, and I'm not going to do it all the way, but it folds into, you know, a completely full wagon. It snaps down. This is really important. It's really important because if you need to get to a certain spot and your vehicle's not working, you can get, and you have kids, you have children, you can, you know, they're going to get tired. You're going to need to pull them to a water source or something like that. Even bigger than that, it might not even get to that, but if you need to get to the grocery store, right, and there's an EMP strike, because once people realize what's happened, within 24 hours, 48 hours, people are going to loot the grocery stores. It's going to be pandemonium, so you're going to want to be one of the first ones to the grocery store. So if you realize your vehicle isn't working and your electronics aren't working, what you need to do is you need to have a wagon, and you need to walk down to the local grocery store or gas station or whatever and completely clean it out with, you know, from bread and water and non-perishables and things like that. And this is going to be great if your vehicle's not working, because it's going to be you're going to be able to haul that stuff, those heavy loads from the convenience store back to your house. And again, you can transport, you know, your kids and stuff in here. So this is a really big deal. And it's kind of expensive. The wagon itself was, let's see, actually it wasn't too bad. It was like $70, so it wasn't too bad. The next thing I'm going to show you guys is steel pot set. not steel pot, excuse me. It's completely different than a steel pot set. It's a cast iron set. And why that's important is because steel is not going to, if you're out of electricity, an EMP hits, and so you're not obviously not going to be having an electric stove or anything like that. You're going to have an open fire, whether that's with propane, whether it's with charcoal, whether it's with a campfire. Eventually, you're going to just have to, if things get bad long enough, you're just going to have a campfire. And with an open campfire, those temperatures get pretty hot. And a stainless steel pot is not going to it's not going to hold up in those temperatures. If you get it close to the flame, it's not going to do that. If you want something that's going to last, you're going to need a cast iron set. Cast iron sets are ideal for over flames because they can take high temperatures, so you can cook your food, your game, your vegetables. You can make stews and stuff over flame. If you're not using the solar stove and you want to use a campfire, you don't want to use it in a campfire, you've got this cast iron set, which is really, really durable. It's going to last a long time, and it's going to be protected from the open flame. So I highly recommend this. You can get this at like Academy Sports or something. And I spent with this was about $45. So it's not that bad. It's a 5-piece camp set. It's got the, kind of a skillet, and then it's got like a regular pan, and then a couple other pieces to it. So it's pretty nice. And then so the next thing on the list I'm going to show, everybody should have, I'm not a big fisher, but it's really important that you guys have a fishing pole. You could go to your local academy or your Walmart or something and get a decent fishing pole, and you can even get the sets like that has lures and things like that inside of it. And this is going to be fairly cheap, and this is going to be invaluable because you're going to have multiple sources of food, as far as like catching fish, growing your own food, hunting for game. The more options and tools you have to get different food, the better off you are. That fishing pole set was about $36, so it wasn't expensive at all. The next thing, and we're just kind of going down in price with the stuff. The next thing that I have is, I call this the Bob, but the reservoir. This is a really, 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 really handy thing. If stuff does hit the fan, a nuclear disaster, or the electricity goes off because of an EMP strike, it's very likely that either immediately or soon after that happens, that the water supply company, your local water supply company, is going to shut their stuff off, shut their water off. So you're going to be without water. This is great, not even if stuff just hits the fan, but if you're preparing for a hurricane, you're preparing for to be snowed in with a blizzard. This holds up to 100 gallons. It basically makes your bathtub a huge water canister. And, as long as you maintain the water treatment, you treat it, if it sits, for a little bit, you're okay with this. This is going to get you through because water is incredibly important to have. This was super cheap. It's called the Reservoir. This was like $21 I think I got it on Amazon. And I'm actually, I got some of the other things, but it's pretty much my food items, it looks like. That's pretty much the big stuff that couldn't fit in bags. I have food items and things, like I said, I may make a video about that. But if there's anything that, if you've watched the other videos that I have, if you see anything that I'm missing, or say that, you might want to think about getting this or something, feel free to leave it in the comment section, or feel free to send me a message. So I hope you appreciate it and like this video. I hope it helps you out. Okay, thank you. Take care.